By 1947, Viktor Frankl had survived 4 concentration camps, dictated one of the most important books of the 20th century, and returned to psychiatric practice in Vienna. He had done all of this while carrying a grief that most people could not imagine: the loss of his wife Tilly, who had died in Bergen-Belsen, and the loss of his mother, his brother, and nearly his entire world. And then he fell in love. Eleonore Schwint, known to everyone as Ellie, was a young Catholic nurse from Lower Austria who worked at the Vienna Polyclinic Hospital where Frankl had taken up his post as head of neurology. She was 23. He was 41. Their courtship was quick by any standard and remarkable given the weight of the world Frankl was carrying. They married in 1947, and their daughter Gabriele was born a year later. The marriage lasted 50 years, until Frankl's death on September 2, 1997. By every account available, from Frankl's own writings, from interviews with those who knew them, from the testimony of colleagues and students, it was a genuine partnership, marked by warmth, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to the work that gave both their lives meaning. What makes Ellie's place in Frankl's story particularly significant is what it demonstrates about his own teaching on love. Frankl's theory of love, developed most fully in The Doctor and the Soul, distinguishes between several dimensions of human relatedness. At the most basic level is the physical, the attraction of one body to another. Above that is the psychological, the response to a person's temperament, character, and personality. And then, Frankl argued, there is a third dimension, what he called the deepest form of love, the apprehension of the other person's essential self, the unique core of their being that is unlike anyone else's. This deepest love is not a feeling that arrives unbidden and departs in the same way. It is a form of perception, a kind of seeing that penetrates to what is most essentially the other person. And crucially, it sees not just what is but what can be, the potential that the beloved person carries, the person they are still becoming. Frankl believed that being genuinely seen in this way, having someone perceive your essential self and your unrealized potential, was itself transformative. It helped the person become more fully what they already were. In Ellie, Frankl found someone who could offer that quality of attention, and he offered it to her in return. Their relationship was not the replaying of what he had lost, he never pretended otherwise, but a genuinely new beginning, a new form of meaning freely chosen in freedom. The fact that Frankl was capable of this, that a man who had suffered the loss of his wife in the most brutal possible circumstances could open himself again to love, is itself an expression of the principles he had derised. Love is not finite in the way that a bank account is finite. To love again is not to betray what was loved before. The love that was given in the first marriage had been real and irreplaceable. The love available in the second was equally real and equally irreplaceable. They did not compete. They coexisted in the man who had been formed by both. Frankl's post-war life was one of extraordinary productivity: books, lectures, honorary degrees, global travel, the founding of the logotherapy movement. But running through all of it was the domestic warmth of a marriage that gave him a home to return to. Ellie accompanied him on many of his lecture tours. She outlived him and continued to promote his work after his death. She was not a passive support but an active partner in the meaning he was building. The story of this marriage is, in its own quiet way, one of the most powerful demonstrations of what Frankl taught, that even after everything has been taken, the capacity for love, genuine, generous, self-transcending love, remains available. It does not require that the past be erased. It only requires the courage to say yes again. Subscribe to The Psychology of Viktor Frankl to explore more of his timeless ideas.